Good day everyone, welcome to our presentation. Today in this video, we will share with you our project called Zoo Inventory Tracking System, a program we developed using Java. The purpose of the system is to help organize, manage, and keep track of the animals inside a zoo in a more efficient way. In this presentation, we will walk you through how our program works, explain the logic behind the code, and show how and why this system can be very useful. And now, let's begin by discussing how we design and build the code.
Everyone, so my name is Kisler Joseph Escueta, and today we'll explore how constants and arrays work in Java. So this program demonstrates practical use of these fundamental program concepts. So the public is about accessible from anywhere, and the static belongs to the class rather than instances, and the final is about value cannot be changed or constant, and int is a data type, and max underscore animals is about constant name in uppercase, and 50 is the max value. So what is the purpose? So this constant sets the maximum number of animals our system can track, making it easy to modify capacity in one place without searching through the entire code base. So, in our code, there are four parallel arrays store different attributes for each animal. So, there are a data type string. This is a declaration of a string array. And new string max animals creates an array with capacity set by our constant. Each array index corresponds to one animal's attribute. So, how do they work? So, animal at index 0 names 0, species 0, ages 0, enclosures 0. Animal at index 1 names 1, species 1, and so on. So, when you add animal, there are the code with the index will change. I mean the element will change. The key benefits of this approach is fixed capacity. The max animals constant ensures we don't exceed memory limits. Data organization. Parallel arrays keep related data together. Number 3 is efficient access. Direct index access makes retrieval fast. And a simple implementation. So it's easy to understand and maintain. Although there are limitations to consider. Number 1 is fixed size. Since we are using the Java, the arrays have a fixed size determined at creation. And number 2 is memory usage, allocates memory for all elements even if not used. And number 3 is parallel arrays, can become cumbersome or often better to use objects. In conclusion, this zoo inventory system demonstrates how constants and arrays work together to create structured, efficient data storage. While real-world applications might use more some advanced data structures, understanding arrays is fundamental to Java programming. Constants provide fixed values that make code more readable and maintainable, while arrays offer a straightforward way to store and access collections of data. So to enhance this program, we could replace parallel arrays with a custom animal class and use an array list for dynamic reciting.
Good day everyone, my name is Mark Nathan Arboco, and today I will discuss about the main menu and switch case. In the main menu program, it is written inside a do while loop, which means the menu will keep showing again and again until the user decides to exit. In the menu display, the first line prints a nice header and list of options. Next, the user can choose what they want to do by typing a number from 1 to 6. Next is the input validation. In the input validation, it uses sc.hasNextInt to check if the user really typed a number. If the user types something invalid like a word or symbol, the program shows an error message, invalid input. Please enter a number from 1 to 6. It then clears the invalid input with sc.next and restarts the loop. Next is the switch statement. The program uses a switch choice to decide what to do depending on the number entered. If the user enter a number 1, it calls the program executes the case number 1. The case number 1, it calls the add animal method with a parameter of sc. In the add animal method, it lets the user add a new animal. If the user enter number 2, it executes the case number 2. In the case number 2, it calls viewAnimals method. In the viewAnimals method, it shows all registered animals. Next is the case number 3. In the case number 3, it calls searchAnimal method with a parameter of sc. In this method, it searches for a specific animal by name. Next is the case 4. In this case, it calls countAnimal by species with a parameter of sc. In this method, it counts how many animals belong to a species. Next is the case number 5. In this case, it calls displayAnimal by enclosure method with a parameter of sc. In this method, it shows animals in a specific enclosure. Last is the final case. In this case, it prints exiting the program, goodbye, and breaks out of the loop. Next is the default case. In the default case, if the user enters a number outside of 1 to 6, the program will say invalid choice. Please try again. Next is the loop condition. In the do while condition, it ensures that the menu will repeat until the user selects option 6 to exit. In short, this block of code is the control center of the program. It repeatedly shows the menu, checks the user's input, and then runs the correct action based on the number chosen.
Hello everyone, my name is John Paul de Consorte from 2CSA, and I'm the one who will discuss and explain to you the add, view, and search in our project. So now, let's proceed to the add animal. So the method used was the private static void add animal scanner SC. So this is a helper method that only works inside the class. It doesn't return anything and directly uses the scanner input to add animal details into the system. So next is the print line, which is the system that out that print line cannot add more animal maximum capacity reach. So this line tells the user that they can add another animal because the storage limit has already been reached. So the next print line is the system that out that print line, please enter the animal's name, which this message prompts the user to type the name of the animal which will be stored in array names. So next print line is the system that out that print line, please enter the animal species, which this asks the user to input the animal species, for example, lion or eagle, which helps classify and identify the types of animal being added to the record. So next print line is the please enter the animal's age, which this prompts lets the user to enter the animal's age, which will be later be stored in the array ages to track how old the animal is. So next print line is the system that at that print line, please enter the animal's enclosure number 0 to 4. So this message guides the user to specify which enclosure number from 0 to 4 the animals belong. So the system knows where the animal is located in the zoo. So print line is the system that out that print line animal added successfully. So this confirmation tells the user that all the informations or animals information has been saved properly into the system. So next, let's proceed to the view animals, which used a method private static void view animals. So this method is responsible for displaying all the animals currently stored into the program. It first checks if there are no animals yet by the animal count double equals to 0. And if there are no animal has been added, the system informs the user that it has no animal record yet. It appears when animal count is 0. So as you can see in the print line is the registered animals. So if animals exist in the system, this prints a header to tell the user that the following list will display all currently registered animals. And as for the loop that used here in view, as for this one, inside the loop, this line prints all the details of each animal, the name, species, age, and enclosure number, by retrieving the stored values from the respective arrays. So each iteration of the loop shows one animal's record. And next, let's discuss the search, which use the method private static void search animal scanner SC. So this method allows the user to look for an animal by its name. As for the start of the loop starts at I is equals to 0, which is index equals 0, and repeats until it reaches the total number of animals in animal count. So this means that it checks every animal record stored in the arrays one by one. So if you must check the condition, so inside the loop, it uses the condition if names I that equals search name. So this checks if the current animal's name is exactly equal to the user's input. So when the when match is found, if the condition is true, the program prints this line. It shows all the details if the animal matches the search name, species, age, and enclosure number. So the variable found is set to true, and the break statement stops the loop immediately since the program doesn't need to keep searching. So when the loop finishes without finding a match, the program prints animal not found, which tells the user that none of the stored animals names match their input. So that's all. Thank you.
I will explain the two methods in our program. The first method is count animals by species. How does the count animals by species work? For example, ask the user to type in a species like lion or elephant in any letter text. Then, it goes through a list of all the animals and counts how many match the species and then it prints out the total count of the species that the user wants to count. It uses a for loop to check every animal and species and keeps track of how many match with a simple counter. The second method is displaying animals by enclosure. So one is those. simply ask the user to enter an enclosure number like 0, 1, 2, 3, or 4. Then, it shows all animals that are in specific enclosure. It looks through all the animals, and if the enclosure number matches its print, the animal's name, species, and age. If no animals are found in that enclosure, it tells the user that no animals found in this enclosure.
In summary, our program uses arrays, loops, conditions, and switch cases to build a functional zoo inventory tracking system. While it's simple, it's effective in managing animal data and demonstrates how programming can solve real-world problems. Through this project, we learned the importance of organizing data properly and breaking down our program into smaller, reusable methods to make the code clearer and easier to maintain. So that concludes our presentation. Thank you very much for your time and attention.